There's a funny saying that goes something like this: as men age, they still look like men, but as women age, they actually start to look like men as well. Another one says that men age like fine wine and women age like milk. There has to be some truth to these sayings, don't you think? The truth is that a man's midlife crisis, if he has one, is nothing compared to a woman who realizes her market value has dropped. As women become older, they are hit with a wave of crushing knowledge and the truth. They start to realize that sooner or later they won't be able to reproduce. Giving birth will become more challenging, and that they need to find a partner, construct a house for themselves, and start a family right now. Typically, women in their mid to late 30s are affected by this. The majority of women are not prepared for the wall, which is another name for the forthcoming era when the biological clock starts to slow down and finally comes to a standstill. Women in their early 30s who are effective at catching men's attention have done it for more than 20 years. Males who are in their early 20s and those who are in their 50s and 60s have and will continue to want to date women who are in the prime of their lives. Men of all ages and socioeconomic classes who have shown them love and validated them have given young women the attention they have always craved. Many women have told me tales of how, in their mid-20s, shady 50-year-old men would make advances toward them, and that by the time they were 25, high school boys would try to set them up on dates. The ages of the males that often sought these ladies were unbalanced. In this way, we males have access to the world, but women do not. This is due to the fact that women's lives peak in their 20s, and that beyond that point, their worth starts to decline. Men, on the other hand, peak after their 30s and continue to appreciate until their 50s. Most women may readily attract the attention of males of any age while they are in their 20s. The attraction of teens, 20-somethings, and even males their own age starts to wane as they start to focus on younger women instead around the age of 30 to 35, when their beauty starts to decline. Women frequently feel that older males don't treat them fairly. Women over 35 often wonder why men their age aren't interested in them for relationships and marriage. In fact, a 35-year-old man may entice younger, more attractive women in their 20s if he has a job, finances, and a car. Before becoming engaged and eventually getting married, most men need to spend a year or two getting to know a woman. Because of this, if a man marries a 35-year-old woman after undergoing this process, she won't give birth until she's 38, thus decreasing her chances of having children. Early to mid-30s, women must start thinking about males in their late 30s, 40s, and possibly even 50s as potential partners. Many of these older men are now the only ones left on the market because they have already had children and marriages. If these men are divorced, they likely already have children, and they might want a second wife. Some of the mid-30s women I know don't seem to want to accept this. They claim that only older men are looking at them, and they find it repulsive. These same ladies spent their 20s hopping from one fling to another, and now they're confused about what happened. They didn't anticipate finding themselves in this situation, and things weren't supposed to turn out this way. Many of them find it shocking that men select women rather than women selecting men. It's challenging for women to accept that they aren't being pursued in the same way they once were, since the natural order of relationships has been turned in favor of males. Only a small percentage of guys who have been physically burned by women have an understanding of the plight of women in their 30s are now the men they choose to date, instead of the entire male side of the human race. It's even worse for women who have an obsession with having babies. They don't care how they can get one because they want a child so desperately. They will sleep around unprotected and claim to be taking the pill when they are not. I met a man who had 3 children in 3 years with 3 separate women, all of whom claimed to be taking the pill. He is currently supporting 2 children and residing with the lady who gave birth to his 3rd child. I used to believe that once their friends started having babies, a lot of ladies my age would start having children as well, especially in the group of individuals I hang out with. Many of my female friends who are in partnerships and are in their mid-30s have decided against having children at all. A lot of the ladies in groups of 10 to 15 who hang out together choose not to have children, due to the fact that these 35-year-old ladies are still partying and clubbing as they did in their 20s. The few women who did have children are no longer accepted into this particular social circle. I find it revolting that women go to cougar clubs in an effort to meet 25-year-old males. Most of these 25-year-old males only worry about getting laid, which severely undermines the self-esteem of many women. However, they don't seem to give a damn. They want to continue the party for just a little bit longer before they reach middle age, because they need the attention of young, handsome men. Many women experience the second wall in their early to mid-40s, and by that time, many have lost the capacity to entice even 20-year-old gentlemen who are only interested in physical intimacy. They typically begin gaining weight and enter menopause at that time. Asian and black women age more slowly than white women, yet once they start to lose their beauty, many of them age rapidly. In the space of a few years, a 38 or 39-year-old Asian lady may transform from looking like she's 29 or 32 to looking as if she's in her early 40s. Women often mature earlier than men do when they are teenagers because they have historically had the reproductive advantage when it comes to passing on their genes. This is because, especially at times in our history when resources were scarce, the earlier women mature, the higher the prospects are for the survival of our species. They will, however, wither earlier as well because they flower earlier. Men with money and resources are more likely to attract women, and intelligent men who put out the effort and save money will only become more alluring to women over time. Men, on the other hand, are drawn to women because of their capacity for reproduction. The aging process can be compared to a game of poker full of deception and other types of misdirection where both sides are involved. For example, if a man and a woman were playing poker in their early 20s, the man starts with 1 chip and the woman has 90, but by the time they are 35, he has 85 of those chips and she has only 6. Your financial resources have a significant impact on your status and alternatives in real life. Just like in poker, more women than men that I am aware of wasted their money rather than saved it when they were young. They would go on trips, purchase shoes, have supper out a couple of times a week, and hang out a lot with their pals. When they are in their mid-30s, they would also spend a lot of money on makeup and cab fare. I've come across women who are deeply indebted from credit card debt and student loans and are searching for a wealthy man to bail them out. In order to help them pay off their debts, several of the women I know have openly stated to me that they are searching for sugar daddies. The aging wall may be a devastating psychological blow for women. Men live longer than women and are more open to dating a range of 20-something women after they are in their mid to late 30s. Although I recently informed many of my single friends about mgtow, they are giving up the game and concentrating on finding their own happiness instead of controlling the bulk of the cards and poker chips in the new dating game. The issue is how infrequently women are receptive to the truth that is in front of them, not whether it is fair or unfair for women to mature early and reach their saturation point in their 30s. The actual and inevitable passage of time is that what nature has determined for us cannot be escaped, no matter what we do. Let me know your thoughts on this, guys. Thanks for watching The Circle of Kings. As always, we're looking forward to your support. So please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything all kings like yourself need to know.